Are we all just sleepwalking spenders, buying things we don't really need and spending too much on the essentials? Are we handing over our hard-earned money without giving it a second thought? I'm Katrina Devereux, and in this series I'll be joined by personal finance expert Sinead Ryan, and we're here to help you take control of your cash. We'll have industry insiders giving you their tips on saving your money, and behavioural economist Dr. Pete Lunn will reveal how our basic human instincts are costing us at the checkout. Welcome to My Money and Me. This week we're helping a Portlaoise woman save for her daughter's wedding in Lanzarote. Our insider tips might help because they're all about saving money on holidays abroad. And the My Money and Me consumer panel are given presents, which reveals a lot about our possessive nature.
And this is one of the reasons why so many people are still with the old electricity, phone, gas companies that they've always been with, despite the fact there's clearly better value in the market.
Catherine Delaney has a part-time job in a canteen in Portlaoise and also receives some lone parents' allowance.
I would never say I was a great manager with money. I'd spend it as fast as I got it in, you know, and I'm never great to say, well, I'll put that aside for a rainy day.
Catherine has 6 children and making ends meet has always been difficult.
Like, there's been periods that I have had no work. So with results, I'd be kind of trying to prioritise certain things I would pay and certain other things I'd kind of put on the back burner. There'd be days, like, you know, when I'm adding up what's spent and what needs to go back out again, it doesn't add up, you know. I worry terribly about it from time to time. Give us a pop. Yay! Yay!
Like a lot of people in Ireland, Catherine is struggling with day-to-day expenses. So when something big comes along, there's no money put aside.
What do you want from us? What's the goal?
Well, the long-term goal is my daughter's wedding. We want to be able to go to that and not have to be penny pinching or scraping or worrying, or, as I do say, taking from one fund to throw to another, you know. But the short-term goal would be that I'd be able to say to myself that I'm comfortable, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to be rich.
How unhealthy are your finances? What do they look like?
There's no kind of structure on my finances. I'm just kind of spending as I get it. No sooner it comes in and it's gone.
And what are you wasting it on, do you think?
I think I'm majorly wasting it on, say, probably takeaways would be a big issue in our house because, and I know myself, it's down to sheer laziness. Just the fact that, you know, when I come home from work or we come in after being wherever, you know, I'm kind of going, sure, we'll just get a takeaway, you know.
4 of Catherine's 6 kids still live at home with her. They range in age from 13 to 23, so food is a huge weekly cost, particularly if they're eating takeaways. And there's only one place to find the evidence of takeaways, and that's the bin.
Okay, there's a lot of takeaway stuff going on here. Was this especially bad week?
I think the fact that we had friends over this week in particular, and my daughter stayed over 2 nights, so kind of we did a takeaway, kind of extreme nearly.
Okay. What do you think of it, looking at it all laid out?
It's kind of a bit kind of eye-opening. You know, I kind of didn't realise how much is consumed. And I mean, that probably isn't a full week's worth.
Allowance.
Yeah.
And how about kind of big things like heating or, you know, groceries, those kind of things that are constant spends?
The heating, I could be a bit more frugal, I think, you know. I mean, I have to be honest now, I haven't bought oil recently, say, because of the fact that we just were using our open fire, you know. But I mean, like, I have to be honest, I think this is just a personal phobia with me, but I buy coal, a certain coal, because I don't like the other coals. I like their little ovals.
Now, Catherine, here is your beloved coal. That costs you €22 a bag because of its beautiful shape.
Yes. It's not just the shape. It's not just the shape. I don't buy it just for, you know, its aesthetics. I buy it because I like the fact that it doesn't spit and the heat it throws out is phenomenal. I have to say. So you burn less of that.
Do you think?
I do.
Than
I
the
know.
cheaper coal.
Yeah.
It's like 50% of the heat or more goes up the chimney. You know, you're not getting the value of what you're putting into it with an open fire. What about groceries?
My grocery shopping, I kind of go between 2 stores. So I kind of think I'm a real hero when I go into Aldi or Lidl and I will pick up, you know, them generic brands and kind of go, yes, that's grand. But then I'll go into Tesco's and I could spend twice as much on the label brands I like. There's certain things I won't change. I probably will never change.
Are these some of the things you don't want to let go of?
Yeah, these are some of my other brand ones that I like to use all the time. And I have to be honest, this is something I think I'll be sticking with.
Okay.
My cereals, I absolutely love Kellogg's. I think when you're going into cheaper brands, it tastes like cardboard. There's no quality in them.
How about butter? There's loads of different types of butter out there.
And we've tried a few. I have to be honest, keep going back to Dairy Goat.
So don't touch these, Katrina and Sinead, hands off.
Yes, literally, literally.
This is Catherine. Catherine lives in Portlaoise. Money is tight. She kind of lives week to week. Her big goal is to go on a family holiday in Lanzarote. Okay. But the notion to her of getting €3,000 or €4,000 together for that is just a mountain.
Catherine's trip to the wedding in Lanzarote will cost about €3,500. So our personal finance expert Sinead Ryan has her work cut out. And worryingly, the first thing she spots is a pre-existing loan for €1,000 that Catherine is still paying off.
There's money going out here to a money lender.
Yes. When things are tight and you need to get a whack of money together, this is how she does it.
Payments can look quite small, but they can charge very, very high interest rates, up to 200%. She's calling mobiles from her landline.
Oh, that's going to cost you.
It absolutely is.
One of the things that she knows herself that she spends too much money on is takeaways.
Would she do it once or twice a week?
She could do it 3 times a week.
Sinead works out that the takeaway meals are costing an average of €80 a week or over €4,000 a year.
I also see a penchant here for branded products.
I know, she likes her branded goods.
We'll talk to her about that again.
Yeah, I don't think she's returning on that, but we'll try. Okay, let's get a plan together so that we can get this lovely lady into the sun.
Each week on My Money and Me, our panel of industry insiders are on hand with their insider tips to save you money.
Hi, my name's Orla Tuher. I'm here in gohop.ie and here are my insider top tips for travel. Most airlines release their seats 10 to 11 months prior to departure, so book early if at all possible. If you can travel midweek, Tuesday and Wednesday are usually the cheapest days to fly, or maybe even low season, so when the kids are in school. Avoid being overinsured. If you've got health insurance, let your travel agent know that this could give you a big savings on your insurance. And also if you travel twice or more during the year, I would recommend that you take out a multi-trip travel insurance, and this will give you big savings. 2 tips I have for package holidays. Firstly, if you want to do a last-minute holiday and you're not fussy on where you go, you can save up to 30%. Also, if you travel between January and April or September and November, you can go to places like the Algarve and Malta and save up to 60%. My top tip for travelling with a family, pool your luggage so you don't have to pay for too many checked-in bags. And even better, if you can just bring some carry-on bags, no extra cost. Don't forget to tell your travel agent if you are on honeymoon. A lot of the hotels have big savings for honeymooners, and also the airlines may upgrade you.
I'm hoping that Katrina and Sinead can come up with a plan that makes us getting to Lanzarote for the wedding happen.
Sinead has examined Catherine's finances, and her first target is that outstanding loan with a moneylender.
I can see from the outgoings on your bank account that you have a loan with a moneylender. They charge a premium in terms of the interest rate on the loans that they give.
If, like Catherine, you wanted to borrow €1,000 and pay it back over 12 months, what are your options? Borrowing $1,000 from a licensed moneylender will cost an expensive $1,573 in total. And what about just putting extra expenses on your credit card? The highest interest rate charged is almost 23%, so that $1,000 would cost you approximately $1,200 over the year. A bank loan will mean more scrutiny of your credit history, but will get you a lower rate. A competitive rate would be 12% on a €1,000 personal loan. It would cost €1,077 over the year. Credit unions offer better rates to people with savings in their accounts. They do vary between branches, and Catherine's Portlaoise branch has 1-year loans at 6.1%. Her €1,000 loan would cost us $1,033 to pay back over the year.
Sinead has also discovered that Catherine spends an average of €80 a week on takeaway meals for the family. That's over $4,000 a year.
So the takeaways have to go.
It's a shocking waste. I know, and it was out of sheer, say, not being organised, laziness kind of, I'd say, on,
and
on a lot
tiredness.
of behalf.
You're allowed to be tired as well, you know.
Yeah, but 3 times in a week.
Catherine, that's the first big challenge we're setting you. Cut out the takeaways and we're going to create a meal plan.
Well, I'll accept that challenge. I don't know how the kids will feel about it, but I'll take it on board and go with it. And it might do me the world of good, health-wise as well as money-wise. But when you come back, I mightn't have any children. But I'll still be here.
After the break, there's a new food regime in Catherine's house as the family live off home-cooked meals for a month. With $4,000 a year going on takeaway meals, the savings should be immediate. We'll also find out just how attached she is to her beloved brands.
Catherine, you're wrong.
Am I wrong? You're wrong. I'm not as good as I thought I was.
And the My Money and Me consumer panel prove we tend to stick with what we have, even if it costs us money.
He kept saying, this is your pen, it's yours to keep, it belongs to you. And I felt a bit attached to it then, definitely.
Catherine Delaney has a clear motivation to turn her finances around. Her daughter Sarah's wedding in 2018. The venue is Lanzarote and Catherine is hoping to save €3,500 to pay for the family to travel.
This above anything, I think, makes me realise, you know, you really have to knuckle down. You know, if you want to make this a reality.
I like parts of it.
So hopefully the savings will get very serious, very quick.
In Ireland, we spend an average of €322 per person a year on fast food. Catherine and her family are spending about $800 per person. So we want her to cut out all takeaway meals for the next month. It's not going to be easy, so Sinead is helping Catherine with a meal plan.
So in our plan, we're going to be thinking now 7 days in advance rather than maybe the 2 or 3 because you would have substituted takeaways for some of the other ones.
Okay.
So we are going to be buying a lot more food, but over that week, you're actually going to be spending a lot less overall on your food budget.
Okay.
Catherine is spending around €50 extra each month on calls from her landline to mobiles. Sinead has found her 2 providers who offer unlimited calls to mobiles as part of their TV, landline and broadband bundles. If she makes the switch, she'll save up to €500 a year.
Most of us are tied into contracts for utilities like gas and electricity, but also for mobile and broadband contracts. But you can always be sure that a special offer will be there when it's your time to change. The important thing is to know your renewal date so that when it does come up, you can be ready to switch and get better value.
And what about Catherine's beloved, more expensive brands? Switching to own brand can reduce grocery bills by up to 40%. So can Catherine really taste the difference?
Have a taste, get in there, see what the difference is.
I can't taste the difference.
You can't?
No.
Genuinely?
Genuinely.
That's the cheaper brand one.
Definitely?
Definitely.
And do you like it?
It's okay.
You're right. This is Kellogg's Frosties, the branded version that you like. You can tell the difference. But as you said, there's nothing wrong with this one either. Okay, that's cereal. But the thing you were like, I'm definitely not getting rid of is butter. You were all about your Dairy Gold.
Yep.
So dig in, see if you can tell the difference between your favourite branded butter and the cheap stuff.
That's different. I think that's the cheaper one.
That's the cheap one?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm changing. I think this one is Dairy Gold and this one's the cheaper one.
Well, this is a major claim now, Catherine. You want to get it right. Do you want to taste it again?
I do.
Because you just said, like you've been saying to me, that you can't live without your branded butter. And now you're going, I'm not really sure.
No, that's the Dairy Gold. And that's the cheaper version.
Catherine, you're wrong.
Am I wrong?
You're wrong.
I'm not as good as I thought I was.
You were so convinced that it had to be your branded butter and you can't tell the difference.
Amazing.
I can't believe you actually had 99-cent butter. That has to be a first.
It probably is a first.
Tea now is the next big thing.
Oh, God. You're killing me here. You're killing me.
She loves her Lion's tea, but will either of these 2 own brand cups of tea pass the taste test?
No, that's Lions's.
No, yeah, that is.
Really?
Yeah,
definitely.
This is the cheaper one. That's Lions's. But this is something else.
I should know because I know you drink Lions in your house. But that's Lions.
No, I'm telling you.
Ladies.
I'm telling you.
No.
Ladies, no fighting, please, no fighting. You're both wrong. They're both own branded tea. You don't know the difference.
Seriously?
Seriously. Are you shocked?
Yeah, I am actually. I'm devastated.
I don't want you to give up tea or butter, any of those things. I'm just trying to show...
Really?
I don't. I just want to show that there is potential in savings. You don't have to be wedded to the brands because the savings actually can add up quite significantly.
Just grab one of these. Fresh produce down here.
With meals planned for the family for the next 7 days and a commitment to try some own brands, let's see how the first big shop goes.
Do you want to try own brand?
I will. I'll try the own brand one.
Is it tomatoes for your spaghetti?
I do.
$3.15 versus $1.15. Own brand ketchup. Do you want to try them?
We'll try them and see how they go.
It's quite complicated when you're trying to save everywhere. So this is the own brand one, 99¢ versus $2.69.
Just put it in the trolley.
After a week of home cooking using own brand groceries, Catherine is already seeing the savings. Remember, she had been spending around €80 a week on takeaway meals.
I'd say if it cost a tenner, maybe a little over a tenner, you wouldn't buy 2 pizzas for a tenner. I do see that I am saving on my food.
No, it's actually really nice. It's really good. If you made another one, I'd eat that as well. So.
The My Money and Me consumer panel are taking part in a series of experiments to see if we're in control of our money or is our money in control of us.
Why don't more of us switch to get better value? We tend to stick with the same energy and phone providers year after year when cheaper options are available. Is it habit? Too difficult? Too much effort? Perhaps. But the funny thing is, there's a thing called the endowment effect, and the best way to understand it is to do a simple experiment. You've each been given these objects, and the object that is in front of you is yours. It's genuinely yours, it's yours to keep, it belongs to you. So it should all be alternates, pen, chocolate, pen, chocolate, pen, chocolate. It should all be like that along the road. So in this experiment, our consumers can leave with either the chocolate bar or the pen. It's up to them. But instead of just giving them a choice, what we've done is we've given them one to start with, and the question is, will they then switch to the other one? If you would like to exchange for the other item, please put up your hand. Exchange away, exchange away, exchange away.
Well, I kept the pen, that's what I got in the first place.
Oh, I got a pen and I stick with it.
58 of you said, no, I'll keep what I have, I'm happy with what I've got. And only 18 of you chose to swap for the other. Now, on average, that ought to split 50-50. So the results we see typify what's called the endowment effect. That is, they're more likely to stick with the product, the chocolate bar or the pen that we gave them to start with. This seems to be a fundamental behaviour, that what you have already, you have a degree of reluctance to move away from, even if you might not have chosen it in the first place. Once I've given you one, once you've formed an attachment with it, you become less willing to then swap it for something else. And what this experiment shows is that there is a barrier to people exchanging, that they will stick with what they have unless you give them a strong reason to change. And this is one of the reasons why so many people are still with the old electricity, phone, gas companies that they've always been with, despite the fact there's clearly better value in the market. They stick with what they've got.
I think it definitely struck home. He kept saying, this is your pen, it's yours to keep, it belongs to you. And I felt a bit attached to it then, definitely. So, yeah, I hung on to my pen.
This result is what we call the endowment effect. What it means is what people have been endowed with, in other words, what they have already, what they've been given, what they already own, is kind of sticky. It's like they're reluctant to want to give it up. And it makes people less inclined to switch from one thing to the other, even if they might actually be better doing so, even if actually, if you just gave them the choice, they might prefer the other thing. People have a reluctance to switch, even when there might be better value available.
Catherine has taken to the new regime with gusto. The takeaway menus have been replaced with a carefully designed meal plan for each week.
I have to be honest, it hasn't actually gone right to the letter, say, but there's been no takeaways, so that's a good thing. It's killing me, but it's a good thing. I'm kind of thinking to myself, if I have it all set out in stone, that at least I know, like when I go in to buy my shopping, what I want, I need to know what I need to be getting, and it cuts down on the waste. There was very, very little leftovers, I have to say, which surprised me. I definitely think, yeah, I will keep this up, without a doubt.
With the takeaways gone, Catherine already has some spare cash.
Sinead wants her to start putting her money into a credit union account again. The Portlaoise branch have 1-year loans at 6.1% APR. Remember, she took out a loan from a moneylender at 157%.
There shouldn't be any problem provided I have a certain amount of my savings. You have to have at least €100 in your savings. So that shouldn't be a difficulty, I'm hoping. All going well, if I stick to all my plans. My grand total today. As I said, I feel like a hero now that I started saving. It's great.
Catherine's My Money and Me experience is coming to an end. Even though she's still buying the expensive coal, and she hasn't yet switched to a phone provider for free landline to mobile calls, progress has been made. And the first thing Sinead wants to talk about is the situation with her outstanding loan.
We sent you down to the credit union to have a look at what options might be available.
The girl I spoke to there was very helpful. She gave me lots of information on how much I can borrow, what the criteria is for borrowing.
Saving on that loan, when you think about it, if you were to transfer the €500 that is remaining to the moneylender to the credit union, the cost of credit, the interest, would move from €280, think about it, that's more than half of the loan that you're paying in interest, down to just 28. That's a saving of €252.
God.
When Catherine transfers the outstanding loan to the credit union, she will save €252 in interest payments.
To add to the pot of savings, the other thing that we were looking at was the expenditure on takeaways. And we set you a challenge to cut out the takeaways. How did that go?
It's actually, surprise, surprise, Katrina, it's going very well. I haven't touched one takeaway.
Are you serious?
No, I have not. I'm not going to sit here and say to you, we're never going to get a takeaway again. It's not going to happen like that. But for the interim, we're going to be kind of cutting them right down. As I said, maybe a treat at the weekend when we're all home and we're all feeling lazy.
Catherine's family were having at least 3 takeaways a week when we first met her. If she does reduce it to just 1, she will save approximately €1,500 a year.
I mean, that's a massive amount when you add it up like that. It is huge. And as you say, yes, I know I'd be spending a little bit more on groceries, but I mean, the thing about it is, I think I get more from the groceries. You know, the takeaway is 1 meal, you know. My groceries are my week's shopping. So it's balancing out, and it's balancing out in a good way for me.
Talking about your shopping, there was the own brand challenge. You were managing. Did you manage to live on it for a week? How did it go?
Let's just say the own brand butter lasted 2 days.
Once you knew that it was own brand butter?
It was just out the window, straight off the bat. I gave it to my daughter.
Yeah, she couldn't tell the difference anyway.
Yeah. Well, sure, neither could I, but yeah, no, that didn't last. I have to be honest, it did not last. But in saying that, that was the only thing I went back on.
By just making the small changes to cereal, tea, ham and mayo, you could save yourself €10 a week, which doesn't sound that much, but it's €520 in the year.
If she does switch to own brand products, she'll add $520 to her savings. Another $500 a year can be saved on those phone calls if she makes the switch in her landline provider, bringing her total to over $2,700 in the next year. In 2 years, she would have enough saved to bring the family to the wedding in Lanzarote.
Where's my passport? That's great. That'd be brilliant. I mean, to have that kind of a security blanket, you know, even, as I said, for the wedding, but outside of the wedding, just to have it there and have it saved would be fantastic. I found the experience actually very interesting. It surprised me in an awful lot of ways, I have to be honest. I kind of would have said to myself beforehand that, you know, I'm spending my money the best way I can spend it. But actually, I wasn't. And I didn't realise actually how much I was wasting.
The savings shouldn't stop there for Catherine. But maybe this is Dr. Pete Lund's endowment effect at play. Even though Catherine could have saved €500 a year by changing her phone, TV and broadband, she hasn't yet. Where there's a lot of competition in the marketplace, brand loyalty has no place. I hope she reconsiders.